Hey, I'm Ryan Nutter with Cornerstone Senior Advisors, and each day we walk people through the process of Medicare, helping you find the right plan to fit your needs at the right price. And today we're going to be discussing Medicare prescription drug plans. Medicare drug plans can be very confusing, and I'm going to give you a lot of information which I really hope you find helpful. If you have any questions while you're watching this video, just call our office, 316-260-3331. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Now, when we talk about drug coverage with Medicare, you can get your drug plans one of two different ways. You can get a standalone prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan that has drug coverage on it. With your prescription drug plans that are standalone prescription drug plans, that's what you use when you have a Medicare supplement or a Medigap policy. Medicare supplement plans like your Plan Fs, your Plan Gs, your Plan Ns, those do not have drug coverage included. So you're going to want to get a standalone prescription drug plan to make sure your medications are covered. Or you can get a Medicare Advantage plan. And oftentimes those Advantage plans, which they call a different way to receive your Medicare benefits, those Advantage plans have drug coverage that are included in the plan. So those are your two ways to get your prescription drug plans. Now, it doesn't matter if you get a standalone prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage included on the plan. You're going to have 4 phases with that drug plan. All of these plans, the Medicare drug plans, however you get that covered, are going to have 4 phases. Phase 1 is your deductible phase. Now, most of the time, these drug plans are going to charge you a deductible. There's a few you can find that don't have the deductible on there. Often, if they don't have a deductible, the premium is higher, so that's something to look at. But with the deductible, is phase 1, you're going to pay $445, which is your deductible. Now, this is your 2021 deductible rate. This has been going up each year. In 2020, it's $435. In 2021, it's going up to $445. That can continue to increase. And what that means is you're going to pay the full cost of your medications until you've paid $445 out of pocket. So the insurance plan is not going to kick in until you've hit this number. Now, a lot of these drug plans that you can get with Medicare, they don't make you pay that deductible if you're only on Tier 1 or Tier 2 medications. Your copay for Tier 1 and Tier 2 medications, which are your basic, generic, cheap medications, your copay for these are a lot of times the same in your deductible phase as they are when you get outside of your deductible. So some of you won't have to pay a deductible because you're only on generic medications that are in this Tier 1, Tier 2 category. If you are on a more expensive medication, you pay the full cost until you've hit $445. Once you've hit $445 out of pocket, you hit your initial coverage phase. So this is phase 2. And this is where the insurance company starts kicking in, and you're basically just paying a copay for your medication. Anytime you go to a pharmacy, you're just paying a coinsurance. And the amount that you pay on this for your medication depends on what tier that medication falls into. Each of these drug plans are going to have different tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. The higher the number, the higher the copay is going to be that you have to pay. Now, that's something that's really important to look into year after year, because these drug plans are moving targets. And this is one of the most important things I can give, pieces of information I can give you when we talk about your drug plans, is they are moving targets. So the plan that you're on for this year may not be the best option for next year, because they're going to cover your medications differently. They're going to stop covering certain medications. They're going to move the tiers around. They're going to work with different pharmacies in a different way. They could go from a preferred pharmacy. The pharmacy you're using could go from preferred to standard in a year, even if you don't change your drug plan. They're moving targets. So it's really something to stay on top of each year. Anybody that we're working with out of our office, we urge them to contact us to make sure that we're talking in the annual enrollment period, which is October 15th through December 7th, to make sure that they're on the drug plan that makes the most sense for them for the coming year. They are moving targets. Now, so the drug plans are going to have the medications in different tiers. The higher the tier, the higher the copay you pay. So that's something to really pay attention to. Now, in the third phase, you have the dreaded donut hole. This is the coverage gap. And so A lot of you have probably heard of the donut hole with Medicare, and the donut hole really bothers people, and it should bother you because basically you're paying a lot higher costs for your medications when you hit the donut hole. The way you hit the donut hole, and this is where it gets kind of confusing and involved, but basically once you hit $4,130 in a year, this is for 2021, $4,130. How do we hit this number? It's what you've paid for your medications plus what the insurance company has paid. So we're basically talking about the full cost of the medication. Not just what you pay, but what you pay plus what the insurance company pays. Once that hits $4,131, you hit the donut hole or the coverage gap. And so what that means is basically you're most of the time going to be paying quite a bit more for your medications. Generally, you're going to pay 25% coinsurance for your medications once you hit the donut hole. So if you've been in the initial coverage phase, you have a pretty expensive medication, you've been paying a copay, say your copay is $47 a month. You're paying $47 a month for this medication. And let's say the full cost of that medication is $400 a month. You're only paying $47 copay until you hit the coverage gap. Now, if the full cost of that medication is $400, and you're paying 25% coinsurance, when you hit the coverage gap, now instead of $47, you're paying $100 a month for that medication. So it can significantly affect your out-of-pocket costs with your copays. Again, this is why it's important to shop your drug plan every year. We urge everybody we work with, we send them emails and call them every year in the annual enrollment period to make sure that we're reviewing your drug plan going into the next year so that you don't end up in the donut hole before you have to. Maybe we can avoid the donut hole altogether, and this is something we'd be more than happy to help you with. So 25% coinsurance when you hit the coverage gap, the donut hole. Then you have your fourth phase, your catastrophic coverage. And most people don't get to the catastrophic coverage. Some do. I think it's only 10% of people potentially that hit the coverage gap even. So a lot of people don't hit the catastrophic coverage. But this fourth phase, you hit this phase when you're at $6,550 of your true out-of-pocket costs. They call it your TROOP, true out-of-pocket costs. So what goes into this $6,550? Your deductible that you've paid over here, that counts towards this number. Your copays in your initial coverage, so all the copays that you paid right here counts towards this number. And then 95% of the brand name medications in your donut hole. So if you're on expensive medications, whatever the 95% of the actual cost of that medication, not just what you pay, but the full cost, 95% of that is going towards this number. And then what your copays are in this. So if you're paying a copay for a generic medication in this donut hole, that goes towards this number. Like I said, this can be involved and confusing, but that's how you get to the $6,550. And when you hit this catastrophic coverage, oftentimes that's going to be when you're paying the least amount for your expensive medication. That $400 medication down here, you're either going to pay 5% of the cost of that medication, or $9.20 for brand name drugs, $3.70 for generic medications. Whatever is the most. You're going to pay the most of one of these rates. You're either going to pay 5% of the cost of the medication, or you're going to pay $9.20 for brand names, whichever is higher is what you're paying, or $3.70 for generic medications, whatever's higher. That's how you determine the cost in your catastrophic coverage when you hit this fourth phase. I want to just re-emphasize that these drug plans are moving targets. We would be more than happy to help you figure out what drug plan is the best option for you from year to year. Don't get stuck on a plan where you're paying a lot higher coinsurance than you really need to, or where you're paying a lot higher premium or more deductible than you really need to pay. This is something you really need to review every year in the annual enrollment period, October 15th through December 7th. Call us and we would be more than happy to help. 316-260-3331. I hope you found this helpful. I hope it benefits you as you're watching this video. I really appreciate you watching the video, and please call. Let us help.